It'll do. Yes, good morning. As you can tell, it's chilly again. I don't know why I keep saying that like it's a big shock. It's the start of October, but it's time to do another fitness fragrance review. Now, I've chosen to do this one today, Police Extreme, and you would have just seen, it didn't spray very well, did it? But there is, don't know if you can hear that, plenty of juice still in there, so there's plenty to do a review for today anyway. So, yes, this is essentially a sort of cheapie today, and I haven't really done many of those ones lately. I seem to have done sort of more sort of complex winter fragrances, but this is kind of more of a versatility everyday wear one. So hopefully it's going to do pretty well. But if you haven't seen these fitness fragrance reviews before, essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a morning workout. So I'm going to go for a run. Obviously I'm in my running attire. Then I'm going to walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, and then I'm going to review this essentially on 5 categories during that workout. So the sort of first one we'll do price slash value for money, versatility. They're the two sections I'll do on my run. We'll then come back, we're going to do sort of projection. So did I notice it during my run? How much does it fill up this room in terms of the smell? Compliment factor while I walk to the gym, and then we'll do longevity. So I'll spray my arms, a few hours at the gym, then when I head back, how much can I still smell it? Does it survive a shower? And then we'll give an overall score out of 50 for this one. But before we do that, we'll talk about its sort of note breakdown. And maybe a few issues I've already noticed with the bottle, as you've just seen. So I've got the note breakdown in front of me. So the top notes are lemon, cardamom, and bay leaf. Then at the heart, the middle of the fragrance, you've got lavender, cedarwood, and amber. And then at the base, tonka bean, patchouli, and musk. So what am I getting from this? This very much smells, and this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it like this, but teenage boy. This is what you'd expect most people who are sort of a sporty footballer, play for a local team. That's what they smell like, quite juvenile, quite youthful. And the things I'm really getting from this, it's got that sort of Dior Sauvage shower jelly vibe to it. However, I think it reminds me more of like a Mont Blanc Legend or Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce, because it's definitely got that sort of clean lavender smell, that very creamy lavender smell, let's say. And I don't really get anything green. So I'm not really getting a lot of that sort of lemon, bay leaf, sort of freshness from the top. It's very much that middle bit. So you've got the lavender, the clean classic fougere, cedarwood, definitely that woodiness in it, and the amber that adds that sort of resinous sweetness. That's what I'm really getting. Very pleasant, very youthful, very sort of juvenile, let's say. And then I think you are definitely getting that musk and patchouli at the end, which adds that little bit more depth to the fragrance. But it's very nice. There's definitely a spiciness in it as well that makes it more masculine. It just said it just smells like a sort of boys changer. If you're a football team or whatever, it's got that smell to it. Young, what everyone kind of smells like in the modern world. Versatile, easy to pull off, throw in your gym bag type scent. And I definitely think lavender is at the heart of this. Really, it's like a clean, spicy lavender, but that creaminess from the woods, I think, as well, and that sweetness definitely shines through. And you'll definitely get that blue fragrance type vibe to it. So pleasant. That's what I'd say. Pleasant, approachable, easy to wear. Now let's just quickly talk about the bottle and the presentation, because as you've seen, I've got a few issues with it. So we've kind of got about, I reckon about 20 ml left in this. This is a 100 ml bottle. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know why, but the atomizer, it sprays one sort of mist to start with, and then you have to almost stop for about 30 seconds before it starts working again. So it's quite cheap, this fragrance. Cheap cap, to be honest. Now, in terms of the presentation bar, again, I'm not too worried about it, but it is very long and thin. It's got this kind of like pronounced sort of groovy bit at the back, which matches with the lid as well. But there's nothing too much to write about. I quite like the logo on the front, quite like the sticker there. And then what I do like about this, I will give it some credit, it's quite flat. It's very flat, actually. It's really, really flat. It's like a phone. So it's quite easy to slip in a pocket or a tablet. I think it's a bit big for a pocket, a bit heavy. But if you wanted it in a bag or something to take to the gym, just throwing it in there, it's quite good. It's not as bulky as some sort of fragrances you get that are kind of more cube shaped. So that's the one good thing. But I've had a lot of police fragrances, and the atomizers on them are always pretty rubbish. They always make like a high pitched noise, just don't really do anything. So I'm going to spray it a few more times anyway. Hopefully it will start to work a bit better, but there's plenty of juice in there. Isn't this exciting viewing? But anyway, it's now time to get outside. I'm trying to put my run off because I'm not fancying it today. But anyway, stop moaning, Harry. It's time to get out there. We're going to review the first two sort of categories. So we're going to do price and value for money for this fragrance and its versatility. So let's get on with it. How rare is this? It's actually not windy while I'm going for a run. I'm running into the wind at the minute, and it's so nice and calm. So, price slash value for money. So what you would have just seen is a gift set and just the general 100ml fragrance. You can only get this in 100ml, but you're talking about £9 to £12 essentially for this. I think I got this for about £6 when I bought it off the Tina because it had a discount. So is that good value for money? Well, I think anything at that price, you can't really go wrong, can you? I mean, that's just safe to sort of blind buy and just try. And if I was blindfolded, if I always sort of think, is it good value for money? What would I say this is worth? I'd probably say the tops I would pay for this is sort of like £15 to £18, because I think it's probably almost within that sort of cool water vibe where, you know, it doesn't smell particularly natural or high quality at all. You know, it's very synthetic. However, it's not like, you know, like when you get those synthetics that burn your nostrils. This doesn't at all. This is just very pleasant. Everything feels well blended together. And if we look at the sort of notes again, you've got that spiciness, which definitely gives it the masculine vibe. Almost like this pepperiness. You've kind of got these sort of aquatic type notes as well. But essentially, it's really the sort of creamy lavender I'm getting with that patchouli and musk, which just makes you smell very clean, very safe, sort of easy to put together. And normally I don't mention this when I'm doing price pay for money, but to me this is the perfect sort of phrase you'd buy as a gift for someone. It's very much that sort of person who's an adolescent going through that transition phase at secondary school where he's worrying more about his appearance and how he smells. Maybe he gels his hair, maybe he goes to the gym, and it's so safe. You know, you could buy so many fragrances that you go, I really like that, but I'm not sure anyone else would, or this person would, particularly if they're sort of getting into it as an entry level. This is perfect for that. This is a great entry level. You get the aftershave bar with the gift set as well, so if they're starting to grow facial hair, all those sort of things that, you know, you sort of adapt to as you get in, you know, into your mid to late teens. It's absolutely perfect for that. It'd be great as a sort of Christmas stocking filler, all those things. It doesn't smell high quality though, of course it doesn't. But you don't expect a high quality citrus lemon in this, you know, when it is this price. The price reflects exactly what it is. So what I would say is, yes, I think the quality is the sense as the oils and whatever probably reflect that price. But 100ml for a really easy to wear versatile scent, which, let's be honest, most people want. That is why those ones do so well. I don't think you can really argue that, can you? So, you know, in terms of like a score for this, I can't mark it down too much. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I'm just going to mark it down 0.5 because I think the quality of the scent doesn't exceed any expectations for me. But I just think because it's so good for, you know, the majority of people, and it doesn't smell harsh on your nose, you know, it's got to get a decent score. But I think, of course, you know, it does smell like a sort of £15 to £20 sort of fragrance. So, yeah, that's the only reason I've just marked it down. It probably reflects its price and quality, but for what it's used for and what it's meant to be, that's perfect for me. So 9.5, good score. Right, on to versatility. So versatility then, how much can you sort of dress this one up? Is it suitable for all seasons, different ages, different sexes? What's it suitable for? Well, normally I would say about fragrances being unisex and mark them down if they're, you know, not suitable for women, but I'm not going to do that with this one because police fragrances do male and female scents, and this is just meant to be a male scent. I think it'd be really harsh to mark it down for that. But this is the sort of fragrance, the vibe, the genre, the profile of it that is essentially versatility. That is what it's about. That's why many people own these sort of blue shower gel lavender type fragrances, because they can be used so often. It's a signature scent worthy for someone who may be, let's say, just first getting into fragrances, or maybe she doesn't really care, just wants to smell clean. This is perfect. This is the perfect gym scent. You know, it's perfect for just casual everyday use. You know, you can just throw it on, put it in your bag, take it to the shop. This would be perfect just to put in your car, you know, for lunch breaks. But would I ever really want to dress this one up? Personally, no. because it's just very casual. It is casual. That is the name of the game. So I wouldn't wear this for a wedding or anything like that. And, you know, evening where I'm going out for my brother's birthday tonight, it's not the sort of fragrance I'd want to wear. But that doesn't mean you can't do it for that. There's not an occasion with this fragrance, which is why they're so popular, these genres, and why so many clones are there of, you know, Dior, Sauvage, etc. Because they're always going to be suitable for any occasion. The problem with this one, I think, this does lean a little bit more juvenile, a little bit more youthful. It doesn't have the depth of like a YSLY or a Bleu de Chanel that has that extra depth to it. But this has some depth. You know, it has got the resinous woods. It has got that sort of dark aquatic type vibe to it. So it's not really just completely like a linear, boring citrus. There's definitely more going on. And, you know, when I sort of wear it, I always think, oh yeah, that is nice. And it definitely lasts a little bit longer. We'll obviously talk about longevity and stuff later on. But it definitely lasts a bit longer because of those more deeper notes, like your, you know, your amber, your cedarwood, your, you know, your woody notes as well. So, you know, in that sense, I'm very happy with it. I just don't think anyone sort of 40 and up would really want this. My dad would only use it as a gym scent, and for that reason it's absolutely fine. It will get compliments in that sense, I reckon, but it's really more for you just to smell clean. So really what I'm saying is it's an all year scent, but it's more for that sort of casual summer, easy to wear young person, you know, who just wants to just be very approachable, very nice. And I hate to say it's very stereotypical, this, but this is what sort of women and girls would expect boys to smell like. Sort of like, it's going to sound like a real sort of generalisation here, but it's the sort of boy who'd have a shaker bottle, skin fade, and yeah, just wears this, throws this on all the time. Almost like there's a stereotypical thing teenage girls drive Fiat 500. So yeah, it's that sort of fragrance really. It's not memorable, but stereotypically it's kind of like the social norm of what people would expect you to smell of. So I can't mark it down too much here on versatility. I think it lacks a bit of, you know, it's not a statement scent, so, you know, you wouldn't really dress it up. And I think older people will find it a little bit youthful and a bit dull. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Just mark it down for that. But this is a fragrance that versatility is the name of the game. So yeah, it's going to get a good score for that. Anyway, feeling good this morning. Let's get back and we'll talk about projection. So workout done, 13 miles in total. Best effort in ages, no idea why. If the atomizer lets me, I'm going to spray my room 10 times. Rubbish, isn't it? I will get there in the end. But yeah, essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray this 10 times, and then I'm going to go downstairs, have a cup of tea, and talk about whether I noticed any projection, obviously from my run. We'll then come upstairs and just see how much this fragrance, when it gets there, has filled up the room. So yeah, let's get down there and then we'll give a score on projection. Nice. So, projection. How did I notice it during my run? Well, I'll be honest with you, I noticed it within the first 10 minutes. And then I forgot about the fragrance, to be honest with you, after a little while. But there's a few occasions I actually did notice it. I'm quite surprised. First of all, because it was cold, I wiped my nose on my top. I sprayed there earlier, so I obviously noticed it like that. I noticed it when I stopped to go to the toilet, and I actually noticed it at the end again when I did stretching. Didn't notice it, I said, when I was on the move, but it wasn't very windy today, and I tend to find on a windy day, that's when you notice these fragrances a little bit more. That being said, I think it's going to do quite well for longevity, more than projection today. However, and the reason I say that, I can smell it really, really kick. Like, if I do that, it smells just as strong as when I put it on, to be honest with you. And it's one of those sort of tops that, imagine if you were like at work and you've all got the same uniform and everyone's thrown their jumpers down and nobody knows whose jumper it is, or you're at school, whatever. They know it's yours based on the smell of it, because it really lingers on there. It's got your scent on there. And I quite like that. I like it when you put like a hoodie on and you can smell a fragrance that you've put on from days ago. So I think longevity is going to do a little bit better than the projection. I don't think it's going to fill up my room. One, because I don't think the atomizer is very good on it, but also it seems to be a little bit closer to the skin. It's an eau de toilette, but it's done well. It's certainly lasting, you know, with that sort of tonka bean and stuff, that sort of creamy sweetness, that depth it's got. So yeah, you never know. Once I go upstairs, it may project more than I'm giving it credit for. I don't expect these types of fragrances to do amazingly well anyway, but let's see. You never know. I'll finish this tea, a couple more minutes till I go up, and yeah, we'll give a score. Okay, so 10 minutes has gone by. We are heading upstairs. Let's see if this fragrance has filled the room. Can I smell it before I get there? No, so I'm going to have to go in my room to see if it can smell it at all. It's probably been about 12, 13 minutes. Right. Probably what I expected. It's there, but it's 15, 20%. It's okay. It's okay. What I would say is this isn't going to fill a room. Let's put it out there now. This isn't going to fill a room in any capacity. This is definitely one that brings you a bit closer to people. But I think this is what this fragrance probably wants to be. I think if it filled a room, it would smell quite synthetic and a little bit too in your face, a bit harsh. This one is, like I said, a bit more approachable. This is the person who maybe isn't really into fragrances, just wants to smell clean and fresh and just have something to get them through the day. And I think it's going to do that. As I said, someone would notice it if they sort of like, let's say they were sitting at a desk and they said, oh, you know, what are you looking at on the computer? Oh, you smell nice. You know, it's more like that rather than come in, oh, what's that nice smell in here? And I think that's perfect for this type of person with those notes, tonka bean, you know, lavender, all those sort of, they're very safe, easy to wear scents. They're in a lot of fragrances. So, you know, I personally want something a bit stronger, but I don't think it's for me, this. And I think that's got to be reflected in the score. So, projection. Oh, what do I go for? I'm going to go 6 out of 10. The fact I noticed it on the runs when I stopped, obviously more than when I was on the move, that says it's done pretty well. It grabbed my attention again. I didn't have to reach for it. However, as I said, it's not up there with some of the other ones I've had. Milton Lloyd's Success was a real cheapie. I had a citrus cheapie, and I think that one's brilliant for that easy to wear, room filling type scent. So yeah, that's the only reason. Comparing it to some of the others, I maybe would have wanted a little bit more, but I think it's fine. I think 6 is a sort of average score, and that's fair enough for this. Anyway, going to spray my arms now, head to the gym, and we'll talk about compliment factor. Do about 5 on each arm today, if it lets me. 1, pause. 2, pause. 3, pause. 4, pause. 5, pause. See, it works like that. I think what it is, the atomizer is almost sticky, and what I'm assuming has happened, these are never good atomizers on the police ones, by the way, but what I think happens with it is where it leaks a bit in the inside, the oils have almost become a bit stuck. But you know, there's plenty in there. I do like it. It's really nice. So we can talk about compliments next anyway. But yeah, it's going to be about 3 hours before I smell this fragrance on my arm, see if it survived the shower test stuff. That's the round I'm really looking forward to today. I think longevity is going to be interesting. Right, off we go again. It's a compliment factor. What's my kind of experience with this? Well, I've never worn it for compliments just because I've tended to wear like my sweet ones like my Smarto Baronda or Benefit Med Intent. Obviously I tend to prefer to wear those ones. However, this is the ultimate sort of compliment getting fragrance. It's super versatile. And yeah, it's just so easy to wear. Again, I always think the criticisms of these types of scents is just that they're boring and generic. But that's because everyone likes them, because they're good for compliments. They'll get compliments, they're easy, they're safe, they're not skanky or anything like that. They make you smell young, youthful, you know, energetic, and just well put together and clean. And I always think when you're talking about compliments, clean and safe is normally the best thing to go for, because it pleases most people. And this one certainly isn't bad at all. I mean, I've obviously smelled loads of fragrances. My brother's had even more than me. And I tried this one with him, must have been about 3-4 months ago. And I put some quite expensive ones for him to smell as well. And he said, yeah, I like that one a lot. That one's really nice. And it was this one, because again, it's safe. It's so versatile. You can wear it on so many different occasions. For that reason, I think it's going to get compliments. This fragrance in particular, yeah, I think it's only going to get marked down just because it doesn't sort of kick off the skin, you know, too much. It's not a real projector, as we've mentioned. But I suppose the other thing as well is a lot of people might go, you know, if you're looking for compliments, they might go, smelt that before sort of thing, so they may not really mention it because it's not that different, it's not breaking the mould. But I'm going to defend blue fragrances here because, you know, I know Dior Sauvage stuff and I've been a bit critical of them before, saying they smell a bit generic and that, but as I said, they're nice. I mean, this fragrance smells really good. It does. It's synthetic, but it's really pleasant. Synthetic doesn't mean bad. I've said this so many times, and this is how my brain works here. Butter on toast. I love butter on toast. I think it's absolute sort of stellar thing. It doesn't sound flashy, you know, it's not a flashy sort of type of food. It might be nicer if you had smashed avocado on there or Marmite on top of it or a nice jam. But some people won't like those, but most people like butter on toast, and I like both. So there's nothing wrong with liking those types of scents as well. And yeah, sometimes they're better than the actual thing you're adding on top, and they're sort of more mass pleasing. So I think for that reason, this is definitely a compliment gesture. Again, there's a reason why these sort of fragrances are made, and yeah, it's all for those right reasons that, you know, people get good feedback and they can be used so many, you know, on so many occasions. So I'm going to give this, for compliment factor, 8.5 out of 10. The only reason I don't think you can get 10 out of 10 or any higher is just because people will recognise the scent. It's, you know, something that people may not mention unless they're quite a brave person to mention it. This one isn't super strong, this fragrance in particular, so again, it may not really be noticed unless someone's sort of close to you. I don't think it's going to fill a room or anything, you know, certainly on a night out. And yeah, as I said, it's not going to get those real showpiece compliments that you might get with a boozy fragrance or something that maybe some people don't like. But yeah, it's going to work on 90% of occasions, and I don't think anyone's going to say a bad thing about it. But of course, if we get any compliments at the gym today, you know what happens, we'll put it up to a 10. Not far away now. So workout done, no compliments. However, the projection, which I wasn't overly complimentary of earlier, has been pretty good. It's perfect for the gym, this scent. This is the one fragrance I've worn recently that actually feels right wearing it. So yeah, now I need to start giving it a score on longevity. So I'm going to have a shower now, and then once I come out the shower, we'll see if it still smells as strong and as nice as it currently does at the minute. Okay, so it's nearly midday. Got my smart shirt on, ready for tonight. How does the fragrance smell now? I had about a 20-minute shower there because, you know, might as well get my money's worth. Yeah, do you know what? I have to say, I said this earlier, didn't I? I was hoping for good things in terms of longevity. 75-80% as strong as it was when I put it on about 3 hours ago. That's unbelievable. I think it's because it is synthetic, but as I said earlier, the synthetic in this isn't harsh at all. It's just really nice. It's well blended. There's a lot of complex notes, and there's definitely some depth in this fragrance that's making it last a bit longer. I'm sure it's the woodiness. I'm sure it's the woodiness and maybe the sweetness from the tonka bean, but it's just very pleasant. It's very much that sort of Mont Blanc legend type vibe. It's not very grown up, as I said, but it's one that, again, if you're not too worried about Freshie in terms of performance being ultra strong, this will get you through a whole day, and it will do all the jobs that you want to in a day, whether you're having to rush to the shops, go to the gym, you know, day at work. It's perfect. And as I said, you can wear it, put it on like a hoodie, and when you put that hoodie on again later, it's just there. It's very inviting, very cozy, so safe to pull off. And that longevity is up there with some of the fragrances I've spent a lot more money on in recent weeks. That I've reviewed, whether that's a Fico D'Amalfi or you know, an Hermes fragrance. And this is what, £12, £12 for something that lasts that well. It's got to be a really good score for this because of the price and everything. I'm going to give it a 9 for longevity. It's super good. It is not bad at all. I just think you might still want to reapply just to get that little bit more kick from it. But that's more about the projection than anything. But longevity, it's a big thumbs up from me. Well done, police. We are home. So it's just gone 1:30, and I have managed to do 36,800 steps. all while wearing Police Extreme during my workout today. So what was the overall score it got? It's done very well. Actually, a lot of them have done really well lately. Got 42 out of 50, and that's on categories like price and versatility, compliment factor, longevity, all those things that I've looked at today during my workout. Now, I did just smell my arm before I sort of started this clip, and it's still there. It's still lasting, and it's going to do that for most of the day. So if you like that sort of thought of something clean, versatile, fresh, that really, stays on your clothing, stays on your skin, doesn't really project, this is great. It's a super entry level fragrance. This is very much in the Versace Dylan Blue, your blue fragrances. I think Mont Blanc Legend is something that this really does seem like in terms of that more lavender vibe. But yeah, shower jelly, masculine fragrance that, let's be honest, most people are looking for. It will do all those jobs. You could go out to the shops with this, the gym. You could dress it up if you really want to. I've got my shirt on today, and it's just pleasant, approachable, and it just makes you feel clean and fresh. And I think what I like with this is obviously you have your Dior Sauvages and Blood Chanel. They're like 60, £70. This is £12. £12 that gives you that similar vibe. And as I said, it'd be a great gift for someone who's getting into fragrances, or just someone who just wants to smell clean. It does those jobs perfectly. And when you look at the cost of living at the moment, how expensive everything's become, I really appreciate the fact this is so affordable and it just fits that vibe. Synthetic, yeah, it is, but it's very nice. It's not strong on the alcohol in your nose. And I'm a big fan of blue fragrances. I must say that now. I know they divide opinion because they're generic, but I actually think generic is a good thing. And yeah, I think Police have done really well with this one. So very glad it's in my collection. It's going to go in my car now, actually, because again, it's a very nice shaped bottle, slips in a pocket, slips in the side of my car, and I just know it's going to it's going to do all those jobs that I really want in the day. And I don't, if there's something comes up, it's just there ready for me to put on, and I know I'm not going to offend anyone with it. So yeah, great fragrance. Police fragrances though are brilliant. If you haven't tried any, please try some. There used to be one called Police Independent. Fantastic fragrance, really bit of a darker one, bit more of a Encre Noir type vibe to it. It's really nice. So if you can still get that, please do. But just try the original Police. I think there's Police Freeze or Frozen. They're all really good. I absolutely recommend them. So yeah, very much like this one, and it's been reflected in the score. You can't go wrong. I don't normally say blind buy, but you could certainly blind buy this. If you like that shower gel scent, this is the one. So yeah, thank you very much for watching today. Enjoying doing these fitness fragrance reviews in the winter. Actually, it's a little bit cooler now, so I'm starting to notice those fragrances a little bit more, which is great. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're enjoying all the fragrance content. More fragrance films to come as well. I've got a good one coming up in mind, so I'm hoping it's going to pan out how it is in my mind anyway, and we'll do another live stream soon. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Catch you later.